Hello from quarantine. I'm Allison,
I'm Savannah.
and today we're going to be talking about the gender bias in the legal profession. It is important to get an understanding of what women in the legal profession have to face. Both women and men receive and pay for the same education in law school. Upon graduating, they receive the same degree. Unfortunately, what happens after receiving a degree does not always represent equality.
Women have the right and the chance to get the same degree as men, and according to Morello, the number of U.S. women lawyers has increased over the last 15 years from about 10,000 to well over 100,000. This number has grown about 10 times and continues to grow every single year as women continue to broaden their education and their career paths. Women no longer stay in the house to raise the family as they used to. These days, women start a career before a family. Lawyers fight for fairness and justice, but they are not treated with such in the workforce. Lawyers are greatly affected by this idea of inequality as they are the ones that always try to fight against it. They state that gender pay inequality is an issue that strikes at the very core of what lawyers do, serving their clients and securing equality and justice for all, according to Bellows.
It only makes sense that women lawyers be treated with the same passion and respect they spend years to gain. So, first, let's talk about the graph a little bit. The graph talks about the gender pay gap. It talks about the percentage of attorneys that earn over $150,000 annually. Men are in blue and women are in purple. So, let's take a look at 2018. In 2018, I would say about 76 to 77% of male attorneys have earned over $150,000 annually. And about 61 to 62% of females also earn the same. Jumping back to 2012, around, I would say 58% of male attorneys earned over 150K, and about only 42% of females earned over 150K or 150 exactly. I would say that this number is a give or take about how much all attorneys earn. Not all attorneys earn 150,000. Some male attorneys earn less, some women attorneys earn more, but this is just a number that we can go off of. I also believe that with the same education and the same clients and the same workforce, more women should be earning the same amount as men. Just because they are a woman doesn't mean that they shouldn't have the same opportunities as men. So, according to Huey, while salaries have gone up for everyone over the past several years, men started out higher overall and remain so as of 2018, as we see here in the graph, maintaining the gender pay gap. So we should talk about what this means.
Essentially, this means that even though men and women in the legal profession compete for the same clientele and have the same degree, women still fall into this gender pay gap. The gender pay gap is the fact that women are significantly paid less than men, which continues to hurt our nation and population of women in any and every field of work. So don't get us wrong, this is not just in the legal profession, but it follows women everywhere.
And I guess our question is, and why we chose this topic, is because both of us sitting here are women. I personally am planning to go into the legal profession. She currently works in the legal profession. And we see that women are underpaid and women are treated differently than men. So we wanted to do a little more research about it and figure out as to why. In the United States, the gender pay gap percentage is 82%. While we cannot find an exact percentage because there are too many factors to face in the pay gap, a study by Bloomberg Law showed that male partners' compensation at law at 200 law firms was 53% higher on average than women's, while general counsel's compensation was an average of 39% higher for men than for women. So clearly men are making more than women are in any law firm.
So now let's take a look at this difference in salary just between male and female attorneys. This graph points out the salary difference for men and women. As you can see, the women in red, the men in blue. Consistently between 2005 and 2015, women are falling under men with their weekly salary. According to Mastrin, female attorneys have largely seen no statistically significant shifts in narrowing the pay gap in the past 2 decades.
So let's take a look at this graph and let's see what it's talking about. So right here, we have a steady flow of male attorneys earning a lot more money than female attorneys. So we can look at this breakdown over here. So this is a weekly salary for men and women. In 2005, men earned about $400 more weekly than females. In 2015, they're still earning close to $200 more. However, they're doing the same job. They have the same clients, they have the same workload, they're doing the same thing. In fact, they even work together. They work on the same cases together. So why are men earning more than women? It's just not fair. They have the same education. So let's take a look. This is unfair because female attorneys do the same work and they have the same authority as do male attorneys, and they require the same pay. It's been established that women experience inequality with their earnings, but more shocking than that is the differences increase with age.
So one would think that with more years experience, more years to prove yourself, that the pay would start to equal out, but that idea is completely wrong. These differences in earnings actually increase with age, and so by mid-career, around 45 to 54, the median earnings for women become about 121,000 compared to the 156,000 of men, or according to a source by day.
So let's take a look at this graph per se. So men are in gray and women are in red. So this talks about the amount of lawyers from 1960 to 2016. Of course, in the 60s and up until the 90s, there are so many more male attorneys. But you can see as the 2000s hit right over here, there are more female attorneys because women are getting a better education. So since women are going through the same education, getting jobs, why are they making more? That's our question. I'm sorry, they're making less. Women are making less than men. For some reason, male workers believe that women should have less of a say. Some women also face sexual harassment in the work field. Being a powerful female attorney can have many things at stake, your career and your pay. Even though women are expressed to have the same power as men, they face different binaries which hit them from many aspects.
The legal field still stands today to be well male dominated. When women are seen to be the face in charge and hold power, the power can just bring them down, and women face this gender bias. Boyer states, despite all the progress women have made in the criminal justice system and in the legal profession, these fields are still dominated by men. And not only are these fields dominated by men, but women are looked down upon when they enter into these fields.
Which shouldn't be the case. Female attorneys are more likely to be interrupted, doubted, and not listened to, along with receiving a much less pay grade. Women should not be looked upon as lesser than men for acting in a way aligned with their employment. One attorney describes her performance reviews as my only feedback is, you need to find your more feminine or softer side. You need to act more like a woman.
One attorney spoke to one of our sources, stating that white men don't realize how much space belongs to them, or that they unconsciously feel that they own space. They frequently interrupt others, but if a woman on a conference call states her thoughts, she's immediately criticized as interrupting. Men need to respect women's space in the legal profession and show professionalism towards women. After all, they're in the exact same profession trying to do the exact same things. There's no reason for women to be treated in these ways.
To summarize what the woman said, she was basically saying that men need to act more like women. They have to be respectful towards women, like women are to other men and are to other women, and they need to show respect towards themselves in the workplace because they are colleagues. They are working with each other. So men need to understand boundaries, and men need to understand that a woman is just trying to do her job. Women are fully aware of pay inequality, and it is something we look out for. When women see pay inequities, they leave. This means that firms lose lawyers for whom they have invested time and money in training and also clients. One huge reason why pay inequality needs to be reformed is because law firms lose money by not being fair.
Once a woman is made aware that they are being paid far less than their male counterparts, they happily leave, knowing that there are other law firms out there that are just starting to reform this issue in the pay gap. Law firms should not waste money and resources trying to maintain unfair ways. Instead, they should start pouring money into reforms and things that are just going to start changing this for the better.
How can gender bias in legal profession be put to an end? There have been many ways gender bias was tried to be stopped. Social groups within a workplace, rules within a workplace, and relationships. One thing that was recently discovered as a helping tool is called the toolkit.
Toolkit was discovered in March of 2013 and mailed to 120 major state and local bar presidents-elect and executive directors. The toolkit is used to help firms discourage gender bias. The gender bias also reflects the pay between female and male attorneys, with the male attorneys making more than females, as we've already established, even though their job responsibilities are quite the same.
So, what is the toolkit? Well, let us tell you. The Bar Association can design a summit and present the problem of gender inequality in compensation, establish objectives to reach pay parity, and encourage law firm leaders to improve their compensation policies. According to Bellows, the toolkit outlines how to build fair compensation systems and how to implement them effectively.
Law firm leaders are encouraged to give fair and appropriate credit for all components of firm revenue and activity, select diverse members for compensation committees, as well as train compensation decision makers on implicit bias, according to Bellows.
All right. So let's remind ourselves what we learned today. We learned that women in the legal profession are suffering within the gender pay gap. They are treated poorly compared to men and are underpaid. Male workers believe that women deserve less of a pay. Male workers also believe they are more powerful than women in the legal profession, considering they have the same degree and same education. This is not correct. This should not be happening. We are humans and we are equal. We have the same education, so why should women have a different pay than men do? It just doesn't make sense.
When women are faced with inequalities, they have no chance but to leave. However, this can all be put to an end, thanks to things like the toolkit, which provides outlines how to build fair compensation systems and how to implement them effectively. Legal workplaces can put an end to the gender inequalities and the gender pay gap by treating men and women equally.
Fight for equality in the legal profession, especially people our age. People our age have a saying. We have the right to make it all better for us and for generations below us. And honestly, even for generations that are currently in the work field, for millennials, for baby boomers, for everybody. We have the chance to make it better for women everywhere, not only in the legal profession. We have a chance to make it better in all professions. And, in all jobs, women deserve to have an equal pay because women are doing the same thing that men can do.
It can start in the legal workforce and bleed down to all the other careers that women face this exact same issue in. So that's all we have. If there are any questions about the presentation, please don't hesitate to email us. We will have the reflection and sources submitted to you as soon as possible once we figure out how to do this recording and send that.
Bye. Have a good one.